Hello YouTube, LPlayers back once again, and today we're checking out a new browser-based game called Either.io, which is essentially just a version of the game Would You Rather. So I'm sure most of you know the concept of the game by now. I'm sure some of you have seen or played it yourself. Basically, you're given two scenarios like the two on the screen now, and you're basically just asked like which one you would rather do. Some of them are pretty goofy questions, some of them are quite funny, some of them are kind of weird. So I figured we'll just have a quick sort of run through of some questions on here, maybe sort of 10 minutes or so. And see if we get any sort of funny outcomes. So yeah, if you guys like this episode, make sure you leave a like and let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do a few more. If not, then I'm happy to just do it as like a little one-off, but I figured it'd be quite fun, so let's jump into it. So question number 1, would you rather be bald everywhere or be albino? So I'm so pale at the moment that I'm basically albino already. But definitely I think see, being bald everywhere, I don't like body hair at all. Like, I absolutely hate it. So if I could have like being bald everywhere apart from like my head up, that would be cool. But I feel like being bald on my head would not be good. My ears kind of stick out a little bit as well, so being bald, I'd probably just look absolutely horrendous. So I think I'm probably gonna have to go with albino. Yeah, maybe albino. Okay, so most people disagree, but but I just like having hair on my head and sometimes growing a bit of beard stubble as well. So I don't know. I feel like I look better with hair on my head. Maybe if I got used to being bald, I'd change my mind. But who knows? Anybody bald that's watching this is like, what is this guy saying? So question number 2: would I rather win the lottery or live twice as long? I would. Oh, see, this is tricky because I don't know how long I'm going to live anyway. So, you know, if I'm going to live to the sort of age of 80 now, then living twice as long, I mean, what are the conditions? Will I live twice as long? Does that mean I'll stay younger for twice the amount of time? So, like, by the time I get to 80, I'd actually be as young as if I was 40, because that would be kind of cool. But if I just live longer and I'm old and decrepit and can't really do much, then that's not great. I'm going to go with win the lottery, honestly. That would probably change if I knew how long I was going to live the first time anyway. Like, if it wasn't very long, then of course I'd be like, oh, I better pick twice as long. But winning the lottery, I mean, you're here for a good time, not for a long time, right? That's the saying, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, most people agreed with that one, so that's pretty cool. Wow, that's kind of bad if you think about it. We're more worried about money than life, but what can you do? Would you rather be known as a racist or be known as a sexist? So either of these is going to be absolutely terrible. I kind of feel like sexist, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of people that some people think are sexist, or like, you know, there's people that are kind of like, they are sexist, but like not in a malicious way, just because they're completely ignorant people. I guess it's kind of similar to like granddad racism, right? When it's like their views are very dated and wrong, but you're kind of like, they're harmless kind of thing. I kind of feel like there's some people that are like a little bit accidentally sexist. They're kind of like that. So I kind of feel like that'd be the lesser of two evils. And apparently 64% of people agree with me. Well, that was a deep question. I don't want those kind of questions. Right, so would you rather play GoldenEye on the N64, fantastic game, or play Halo? So both of these games are absolutely awesome. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of fun as a kid around my friend's house playing 4-player GoldenEye on the N64. So, like, me and 3 other friends, just, like, all of us on a split screen, on one tiny screen where it's, like, split into quarters, all playing GoldenEye. We used to play that game, like, so much, and it was fantastic fun. And the same with Halo. Like, I played Halo quite a lot at uni with friends and stuff. Like, most of the Halo games, like, they're pretty good multiplayer games as well. I'm probably going to say N64 just because the nostalgia. Okay, so there's a lot more Halo fans, which is you kind of expect. There's more Halo games, and it's still a thing now. Whereas, you know, GoldenEye was like a long time ago, so that makes sense. But for me, nostalgia value wins. Would you rather smash a computer with a baseball bat or smash a guitar on the floor? I feel like smashing a computer with a baseball bat would be much more satisfying, because the glass breaking would be like quite fun and noisy, and also like the insides of a computer, don't they have, like, if it's old computers, I mean, I guess if we're talking, so in my head, I'm talking about those like old office computers that no one actually has in real life anymore. They're always in the videos of people smashing computers. You know, the ones that just like come flying out of windows in loads of videos. So like that kind of computer, I feel like that would just be more satisfying to smash up with a baseball bat. And plus, like if you're smashing a guitar on the floor, you can only really like if you know you're gonna give it, unless you're like very weak, you're gonna give it like one good smash and it's kind of smashed up then, isn't it? And you're just like, there's the strings are sort of hanging on. It's not as fun. Yeah, smash stuff with a baseball bat is always. Wow, that's okay. So a lot of people, I guess people see the guitar as like a rock and roll thing, right? But I'm just thinking about the pure enjoyment of smashing things up. I feel like the computer would be more fun. Would you rather prevent 9/11 or prevent the deaths of 3 people you choose? Probably, yeah, 9/11. I mean, that's 50-50. That's evenly split. So, I mean, yeah, that's a tough question, right? Because you know, like, the right thing to do would be 9/11 because of how many people died. That's like a massive amount of people that you could. It's like the net good value for that is incredible. Whereas preventing the deaths of 3 people you choose, I guess, is kind of the selfish option. But then also, I mean, it's kind of the like human nature, like personal one. You know, they're people that you have a direct relationship to. So that's a pretty tough question. But I feel like the 9/11 is probably the one I would go for. And plus, I've only got like one friend, so I'd probably struggle for 3 people. I guess you just have to pick your family, right? Would you rather? But then I guess if you anyway, yeah, that's a deep question. We'll move on. Eat fruit roll-ups or eat fruit by the foot. I do not know what that means. What is eat fruit roll-ups? So they're like. So I'm English, so I don't think we have fruit roll-ups. Is that like a Rolo that's fruit flavored? I feel like that's what a fruit roll-up is. It might not be at all. If anybody knows what a fruit roll-up is and I've got it wrong, please tell me in the comments. But I'm gonna go just eat fruit by the foot. Does that mean like eat a foot, as in like the measurement of fruit? Like eat a footload of fruit? Like what does that mean? I don't know. Or eat fruit by, I really don't know what that means. So I'm gonna go fruit roll-ups. Yeah, most people disagree. No, most people agree, sorry. So Blind Luck has picked us the right answer. Would I rather eat only KFC for a month or only Taco Bell? KFC, because chicken is amazing, and KFC chicken is amazing, and I love it. Be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or be the president of a prominent country. I would be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It pays more, you have more of a life, and you're less in the public eye, so you can spend your money on dubious things that you might not be able to get away with if you're a president of a country. God, I'm going to come out of this as a terrible person. And next question, would you rather use a touchscreen on all your devices? I'm pretty sure I do, apart from my computer, because I'm just not that high tech yet. Or use a mouse and keyboard on all your devices. I would... So phone, I definitely would not want to use a mouse and keyboard on a phone. So like, and I feel like that's the device I use most. So for that reason, I'm going to go with I would rather use touchscreen. Although realistically, that's not going to be very effective for if you're trying to play a game on like an actual computer or something. That's going to be weird. But yeah, I feel like I spend more time on my phone than I do playing games. Maybe. Would you rather lose your preferred hand or lose your preferred foot? I feel like foot because you can do a lot more with your hand. Wow. Okay, so most people disagree with that. So most people. So I was kind of assuming that I'd be able to get a prosthetic foot, and that's a foot is less. It's less mobile, right? It's less complicated to. If you've got a prosthetic foot, it basically all it has to do is hold you up. I mean, you can get pretty good prosthetic feet and stuff that you can still run and walk around completely fine, completely normally. Whereas with prosthetic hands, they're a lot more complicated. To get like one that properly moves and stuff is incredibly expensive and complex, and even then, it's going to be nowhere near like having a real hand. So I feel like the hand is more. You could make do with the foot being lost much easier than you could with the hand, so that's my reason for that. But yeah, apparently, I guess other people just looked at it and was like, oh no, I want to be able to walk, but I don't know, you can still walk if you get a prosthetic foot or something, right? Would you rather be a cat or be a dog? I would definitely much rather be a cat. unless you live in Croydon, because there is a cat killer on the loose in Croydon, which is a part of London, if you didn't know that. True story. It's a place that I might eventually be moving to one day in the future. And apparently there's a serial cat killer on the loose. But yeah, anyway, so I'd rather be a cat just because you're completely free to sort of wander out and do what you want. They're awesome at climbing and stuff. I feel like you just have a lot more fun as a cat, whereas dogs are kind of stuck in the house and then they get to go for a walk every now and again, and they just don't seem as intelligent to me. But yeah, most people wanted to be a dog, which is fine. Dog's man's best friend or whatever, but I would rather be a cat. It seems more fun to me. Serve 7 years in a rough prison or kill and eat your pet dog. So I don't have a pet dog, but I would definitely rather kill and eat my pet dog than spend 7 years in a rough prison. One, you probably wouldn't survive 7 years in a rough prison. I guess if you did, you'd come out as a pretty badass. So. But yeah, being in prison is never going to be fun. And 7 years of that versus having to kill your dog. I mean, yeah, of course, nobody wants to kill their dog. I don't have a dog, which probably makes this easier because I don't have that emotional attachment. But I feel like even if you did, I mean, it's not like you have to be super cruel about it, right? You could put it down in its sleep or something, or euthanize it peacefully and send it off to doggy heaven. And then, I mean, eating dog is not something that we should do, but you eat chicken, you eat cow, you eat plenty of other animals. If you take away that emotional attachment, it's not that different. So I feel like that's not as big a deal as spending 7 years of your life in a horrible prison and probably getting killed. Would you rather they had terrible... So who's the... Oh, okay, so I've just realised there's actually questions at the top. If you worked in close proximity to a co-worker all day, would you rather they had terrible bad odour or they played your least favourite music on repeat constantly? I feel like the music is completely fine. There's not really any music that actually bothers... I know some people get like really, really annoyed about certain songs. I don't really care. So whatever music they played wouldn't really annoy me very much, so that's fine. And everyone agrees with me, so that's good. Watch your parents be murdered... Wow, this is deep. Watch your parents be murdered in front of you or murder the parents of another family in front of their children. Wow. So I don't want either of those things to happen. I feel like murdering somebody else's children not only like changes you as a person quite drastically, for like you're gonna have to live with that, and some people might not be able to. So that would probably be bad for a lot of people. But also, I'm gonna say watch my parents be murdered, which hopefully God never happens. Don't ever want that to happen. But just because if you did the other one, it's probably gonna ruin you and your life, and everyone in your family would like not like you anymore anyway because you're a murderer, right? And also the chance are you're also going to go to prison, so I mean that's another one against you for murdering someone else's family. And a lot of people chose to murder other people's families, which is I guess emotional attachment being logic. Would you rather have the ability to see through anything or the ability to get away with theft? Definitely the ability to get away with theft. Like, that's a no-brainer. Wow, really, people? There's just so many perverts walking around that want to see through girls' bras, because that's not a very good superpower. I mean, what are you actually going to be able to do with that apart from look at people of the opposite sex naked all the time, which is probably not as fun as it sounds after like a couple of days. Whereas if you can get away with anything you ever steal, I could just rob a bank, right, and be rich for the rest of my life, and I get away with it. And then I could do it again and again, and I could just walk in. Basically, you could have that. The question, the one in red here, is basically saying you have the ability to have anything in the world that you've ever wanted for free. If I want to go and steal like a Lamborghini, I can do it, and I get away with it. So I don't feel like people have... I guess having an actual ability is kind of cool, but that's not like have all the abilities you could have. Really, being able to see through stuff is kind of lame. So yeah, I disagree with most people on that one. If you were trapped in a cave with your pet, would you... So the only pets I have are rats, and I'll just... Before I even read these two options, I don't particularly like my rats because they bite me all the time. They're more my girlfriend's pets than mine. Sacrifice your pet so you can eat, or sacrifice parts of you. Of course you're going to sacrifice your pet. Like, okay, I bet some people have chosen the red one, but those people are liars. Okay, good. It's pretty close though, so there are a lot of people that are just dishonest people. Or just really stupid. Like, I mean, come on, you can't sacrifice parts of your body to feed you and your pet. Then it's not going to help anyone. Would you rather always get caught in traffic or always have really bad internet? Definitely always get caught in traffic, because I very, very rarely drive anywhere. I live in London, so I take like the tube and stuff. If that's delayed, it's like on record as being delayed, so I can like prove it. So if I'm late for work because the tubes are not running, then everyone else is late for work, so I won't get in trouble. So it's not really a big deal for me personally. Whereas internet is a massive deal. I wouldn't be able to work properly. I wouldn't be able to do YouTube. I wouldn't be able to watch stuff on TV. Well, I don't watch TV, so I only watch stuff on like Netflix and YouTube. So I wouldn't be able to do that. Internet is a much bigger part of my life than traveling, so have to choose that one. And everyone else, of course. Anybody who's watching a video on YouTube of somebody playing Would You Rather, of course, the internet is their priority. Would you rather be unable to experience sadness or be unable to experience anger? I feel like being unable to experience sadness is more beneficial. Because then you can never be sad, right? Being angry is not necessarily a bad thing. I've been angry plenty of times in my life, and there's a lot of times you can use that for like, you can channel that into good things. You know, if you're in a fight, for example, it's probably a good idea to be a little bit angry, or you're gonna get hit and not do much about it. Or like when you're at the gym and stuff, like sometimes when you're working out, a bit of anger can help you there. Whereas sadness is just like miserable. Nobody wants that. So we'll have be unable to feel sadness. Okay, cool. Yeah, people are divided on that. I guess a lot of people see both of those things as negative. Whereas, I mean, anger to an extent, like as long as it's not like full-on rage, murdering everyone around you kind of anger, it's not necessarily a huge problem. Whereas sadness is just there's just nothing. There's no upside to sadness. Okay, so we'll play for a little bit longer. It's gone on 15 minutes, but this is quite enjoyable. Would you rather only be able to see the world in a shade of red, or barely hear people when they speak? Oh, okay, that's a pretty tricky one. Everything in so I don't wear sunglasses in real life because I don't like that when you look through sunglasses. I basically just find it very uncomfortable because everything's like tinted dark, which is obviously the point of sunglasses. But I just find that that's not a good feeling. Like I don't like having sunglasses on. I feel like I can't see properly. But I mean, you can still see and do things completely normally, right, in that situation. I don't particularly like that, but I can still do anything like a normal person could do. I can still move around, I can still see people, you can still see what people look like, obviously not as much with the colour, but not being able to hear people when they speak, or barely being able to hear people when they speak, I feel like would be much more problematic in life. So I'm going to choose, I would rather only be able to see people with a shade of red. Yeah, because I mean, if you can't hear people, like that's going to affect every conversation you ever have. It's going to affect your job and stuff. Like people are going to be like, they're just going to like, people are just not going to want to talk to you because they have to keep repeating themselves or like being loud, and you're just going to seem like an idiot. So we get rid of that. Actually, saying that, I guess getting a hearing aid is a lot easier to fix than trying to fix only being able to see in red, right? So I guess some people that have gone with that are just like, yeah, sure, just get a hearing aid, no big deal. Which, yeah, maybe that's fine, but whatever. Right, we'll do this question and then one more, then we should probably wrap it up. Would you rather see how or what created civilization, or see how or what ends civilization? Oh, I feel like both of those things are not going to be very interesting. Not particularly bothered. How it's already been created is like, I guess if you could see that, it's more likely to benefit you because you can like publish a paper on it or come up with the theory, and then because you know it's exactly how it happened, chances are if you actually know how it's created, you can probably know what to do to prove that or to show it, right? So you could become like some rich big shot scientist that discovered how the civilization was created. Whereas if you can see how it ends, I mean, great. For one, there's no way it's going to be in my lifetime, so it's not going to have any actual use to me. I guess people could be like, yeah, but you could try and prevent it. Well, no, because that's not the question. You're seeing how it ends. If you could prevent it, then what you saw wouldn't have been how it ends in the first place. So I just feel like that's not useful information to have. So I'm going to go with see who or what created it. And then the last question. Okay, so most people disagreed. Most people wanted to see. I guess some people are thinking, well, it's already done, right? So that's useless. Whereas how it ends might be useful. But if you think about it, unless it's going to happen like very soon, it's not very useful. And even if it is, it's going to end, so it's not useful anyway to know that. It's just going to make you live in sadness or anticipation of the world ending, I guess. All right, last question. Would you rather... why couldn't we have a happy question to end on? Would you rather die from hypothermia, in brackets cold, just in case you didn't know what that was, or die from hypothermia, which is heat, in case you didn't know what that was? I feel like dying from cold would be much less painful. Although realistically, your core body temperature only has to change by like a very minor amount of degrees for you to actually overheat or die from cold. But I guess you'd like to have that happen. I guess you could, like, people could probably get it from like over exercise and stuff in extreme cases, like if they've taken drugs and then they're like over exercising as well, like they could probably die from that. I imagine it's not going to be like burning to death in a fire. That's not going to cause that condition to die from. It's more going to be like your internal regulation stuff isn't working properly. But I still kind of feel like the cold, like with the cold, you'd probably go numb and stuff, so there'd be less pain maybe. So I'm going to go with that. I don't actually know what either of those things feel like, so that's a tough one. But yeah, that will do. We didn't end on a good question, unfortunately. Hopefully, if we do another episode, we'll get some more lighthearted questions. Maybe questions about like video games and stuff. Like, that would be much more fun than this doom and gloom. But yeah, if you like this episode, make sure you leave a like and a comment. Just let me know if you want to see more. I don't know if I'll do any more. If not, if you guys want me to do more, then I will. If not, then I'll find something else to play. I like these little browser-based games. They're like, you just sort of hop on and play every now and again. So I'll probably look to find some others anyway. But yeah, anyway, that'll do for this episode. As always, guys, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves, and peace.